Ever since ancient times, human beings have looked to philosophy for the secret of happiness. But few philosophers have come up with more suggestive or more relevant answers than one born on the Greek island of Samos, off the coast of modern Turkey, 341 years before the birth of Christ. His name was Epicurus. Very little about him has survived. All of his books have been lost across the centuries, leaving his philosophy of happiness to be reconstructed from just a few fragments. Epicurus believed that we could all find a way to be happy. The problem was, quite simply, that we were looking in the wrong place. Unlike many philosophers, Epicurus's idea of happiness actually sounds rather fun. He didn't think we should feel guilty about wanting to have a pleasurable, enjoyable life, and promised that he could show us how to. Of course, you might wonder why you need a philosopher at all to teach you how to have a good time.
We seem to think that the key to happiness is really pretty easy. It's all about having a lot of money. So we can come to places like this and go shopping.
But before we reach for our wallets, Epicurus wanted us to stop and think. It's easy to imagine that money can solve everything, but can it? Epicurus was committed to a life of happiness. He liked sex, laughter, and beauty, but crucially spent his time pointing out that happiness is in fact rather a tricky issue. And a philosopher might help you to find it more easily than a credit card ever could. That Epicurus was in favour of pleasure at all shocked many of his ancient Greek contemporaries. His philosophy became synonymous with a lotus-eating lifestyle. To this day, people who love luxurious eating and drinking can sometimes be described as Epicurean. In fact, that's a complete misunderstanding.
Epicurus said that pleasure was the most important thing in life, and yet if we actually look at the way that he lived, it seemed he led far from a luxurious life. His house was very simple, his clothes were extremely basic, he always drank water rather than wine, he found fish much too expensive, and he was happy just eating meals with bread, vegetables and a few olives. He once asked a friend, "Send me a pot of cheese so that I can have a feast whenever I like." These were the kinds of tastes of a man who described pleasure as the end of life.
At the heart of Epicurus's philosophy is a simple thought, that we aren't very good at knowing what will make us happy. Though we may feel powerfully drawn towards material things and be convinced that they are what we require to be happy, we're often wrong. What we want is not always what we need, and nothing shows that up more starkly than our impulse to go shopping.
I like shopping. Most weeks it's just a couple of bags up to, I don't know, sometimes like 10, 12 bags coming out. I like designer names. Dolce & Gabbana stuff, Louise clothes, DKNY, and I love Gucci clothes as well.
Stephen Perry is a hairdresser from Liverpool who spends all his spare time shopping.
I suppose like I could resist, but usually I don't. Usually it's just like go in and shop anyway. Although when I go out buying all this stuff, it makes me happy. At the end of the month when the credit card and the store card bills and the loan repayments come out and stuff like that, then that doesn't make me happy because I see how much is going out every month on debt.
Nothing too dressy. Sports watch do, tag out.
Yeah, the one with the square face behind.
How many watches have you got?
This one?
Not really that many, it's probably about 10, something like
You've
that.
only got 10 watches?
Only 10.
I've only got one. What's the one you're wearing now?
Wearing a spoon watch at the minute. Because I like this just for
What's that?
general everyday.
Yeah.
Because it's only like £99, so it's...
That's 99.
Stephen often gets into debt, and I couldn't help wondering if his desire to go shopping might be a bit out of control.
Everyday watch. What's the fancy watch?
The £1,000 tag watch.
Oh my God, that's amazing. So what's the craziest thing you've bought in terms of like bad impulse buying?
Pair of shorts.
From where?
From a shopping mall in Liverpool. These are them actually. They didn't have my size, so I thought, right, these will fit me. But you put them on and they just tend to look like truly horrendous. Like cycling shorts sort of thing.
How much did they cost?
God, I think they were about £50, 50, 60 quid, something like that. They were never taken back. The same as these jeans. I mean, these have still got the labels on because we just got these home and they were like, they were miles too long, miles too big. I did mean to take them back, but I don't like taking things back. Yeah, fine, thanks.
Would you ever get home and you think you're surrounded by shopping bags and you're thinking, God, it's all a bit, what am I going to do with all this?
Yeah, I mean, especially like you come home and you've just got bags everywhere and you just, why have I spent all that? And then the credit card bill comes in at the end of the month and you think, oh, why did I spend all that sort of thing?
In a way, we're all a bit like Stephen, people who shop too much. Epicurus thought he knew why. We don't understand what we really need, and so fall prey to manic substitute desires for huge numbers of ill-fitting trousers or countless pairs of shoes. But Epicurus declared that he had actually discovered what we did need, and luckily for anyone without much money, the ingredients of happiness come pretty cheap. And the first ingredient we need is friends.
Epicurus took the idea of friendship very seriously, so seriously that he made an extremely radical innovation. When he came to Athens at 306 BC, at the age of 35, he bought a large house just outside the city of Athens, in this place here, which we called the Garden. Of course, at that time it was rather beautiful, a bit more beautiful than it is now, where it seems to be a taxi graveyard. What he did was that he bought this house and asked a group of friends to move in with him. The house was quite large, so there was room enough for everyone to have their own quarters at the same time as coming together for meals and conversations in the common rooms of the house. What Epicurus was doing was picking up on a rather common sense point, which is that friends are a major source of happiness. But I think where he was distinctive was in his idea that in order to really benefit from friends, you had to see them not just occasionally, not just for the odd drink in a bar or the odd chat on the phone, but you had to live with these friends at all times, so they'd be your permanent companions. And I think that was his distinctive idea of happiness.
You wouldn't catch Epicurus devouring lunch on his own in a burger bar. He recommended that we try never even to eat a snack alone. Before you eat or drink anything, he said, consider carefully who you eat or drink with, rather than what you eat or drink. For feeding without a friend is the life of a lion or a wolf.